Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast.
Woo!
We're three guys in a basement talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. We are your hosts. To my right,
Shane.
And I am Benjamin. We have a duo tonight. We don't have a trio.
No trio.
Or a quad, like
No
sometimes
quad.
we do. So both Adam and Michael, too, could not make it for tonight. And this episode is going to be a little different. We're gonna call it a whole episode. You know, we're not going to do a mini episode. We only have one mini episode we ever did, and it's wonderful. You should go back and listen to it because not many people did.
Yeah, nobody
Adam,
listened to it.
Adam did which is why we don't do it anymore.
That's why I guess why we don't do it.
But it was a long time back. He did the Vectrex. He did a mini episode on the
very
Vectrex.
good episode, very informative. I enjoy it very much. I wish more people listen to it. Listen to it.
Yeah, it just didn't get many downloads.
Yeah.
But this episode actually isn't going to have our normal segments like the video game book club, that kind of thing. But since we recently did a con,
go over all our experiences with the con and everything. So
like who we met, what our pickups were at the Missouri Game Con. But anyway, for those that aren't familiar with us, we are a family-friendly podcast. We try to do it every few weeks. We're actually talking about that here in a little bit too, kind of an updated schedule for you guys. So sorry, because this year of 2018 has been pretty sporadic. We're going to try to actually nail some things down to get things
be more consistent for you guys and everything. So.
Yeah, to be a little bit more regular, kind of change the schedule up. All right. Well, you can find us on the old Facebook, Shane.
Facebook.com/videogamedads.
Yeah, and you can email us videogamedads@yahoo.com. And I'm trying to get the Twitter going back up, @videogamedads. I used to run the Twitter and the Instagram, and I was kind of saying before, like, kind of cut that out just for, like, quality of life. Try to get back on the Twitter, so tweet away. Tweet at us.
Tweet at us. Tweet.
Yeah. So since we don't have our video game book club and everything else, we will continue our regularly scheduled program for the next episode where we'll have more guys. We'll hopefully have meet again in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then talk more about kind of our new regular schedule. At that point, we had MoGameCon happen last weekend, right?
Yes. Super awesome.
Yeah. And also something different on this episode, since it's obviously going to be shorter, there are... I was able to get 4 little bonus interviews from some people from the con. I was kind of hoping this would work out, and I wasn't sure because we were so busy at first and everything. We'll go into it. But I was able to get little 15-minute interviews, and I'm going to put 2 on the end of this episode and also 2 on the next episode. So for this episode, we're going to have Jake, also known as Zebular. He's actually one of the kind of founders / promoters and organizers, one of many guys, but the one I probably know the best that runs MoGameCon. So I thought it would be nice just, talk his perspective. You kind of hear about it from a guy who just... they
put on a con.
Start out
really
with an
cool
idea 3 years ago, and now it's kind of grown and adapted and very different every year so far. So that'll be one little 15-minute episode at the end. So if you don't want to listen to us, you skip right to the end. And the other one's going to be Kelsey Lewin. We've talked about her before. You probably know her best if you watch YouTube and you would watch the Metal Jesus Rocks channel. Yep. She is the brunette, a little shorter.
A lot shorter,
but she steps on a box next to tall Metal Jesus. He's like 6'4".
Yeah, he's tall.
Yeah, he's a tall dude.
Tall dude.
And she co-owns a video game store called Pink Gorilla.
Yes.
So I did, again, it's hard. Like, I need to get better at that. A 15-minute like interview is something I've never done. So we actually bought new equipment to do that. It's not something big. It's just a nice little handheld recorder that I like researched. It was fun. And then I have these lanyard mics. I don't even know what they're called. Obviously,
those
I don't
things
know
are
what
super
I'm doing.
cool. Super awesome. Yeah.
So word of warning, the audio quality on those won't be great, but I thought it'd be a great thing to just do, and because some of our fans have let us know that they like that sort of thing. So, and then the next episode, I'm going to have a 15-minute interview with Adam Karolik of Dreamcast fame, Shenmue. Yeah. He's been around YouTube for a long time. A nice friend, and Reggie, Radical Reggie. Yeah, Reggie Williams will be on there too. A great little 15-minute interview I have with him. So stay tuned for those.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, Shane, order of events is talking about getting the con set up.
Yep.
The people we met, some of the friends of the industry and whatever else, and some of the regulars that we've kind of getting used to seeing, and then new people, meeting fans. That was really nice.
That was really awesome.
Yeah, that was really fun. And then listeners, I guess, fans. That's weird. We met listeners. That's better. Because then it feels like, we have more than T-shirts or whatever. Before we get started talking about all that, we're going to say 2 quick little shout outs, very nice things. Generally, we've been doing this now close to 2 years, year and a half. We have had nice little offers of things, and we usually do not take it just because we just feel like it's hard to give something back. Other times it's like, it's just, I don't know. Like, we've had people say, hey, I've got these games I could kind of send you, and we're just kind of politely say no and that kind of thing. But I said one of the episodes, I just wanted something real simple, which was like the case of Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. And a listener reached out to our Facebook, which is probably the easiest way.
The best way to reach us.
Yeah, to reach us. That's where we're most active, and we could see things are easier. Said, hey, I've got like an extra case. I had 3 of them. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I just happened to be like, okay, this time maybe it's a case. It's not a big deal. And it's driving me crazy having the dang discs. This is the OCD-ness of collectors, if you guys don't know. So I was like, I had the 2 discs, and it's the black case. And he said it was in great shape and everything. I was like, yeah. And even asked him if he wanted anything for it. He was like, no, how about free? So he sent it to me for free too, which is, again, very nice. So I appreciate it. It's just it's a little thing, but it's a very kind gesture. So the guy's name is Blaine. So shout out to him. And he was even saying like, hey, I do podcasts too. So that's what he does, something called a retro.
Yeah, what's he do? Retro
RPG podcast. Okay. Which is right not up our alley. Because not our wheelhouse. If you're a longtime listener, we know the names of them. We've had some video game book club ones of retro RPGs. But Adam, out of all of us, probably has played the most
RPGs, I would say. Absolutely.
But anyway, it's cool that podcast exists. I did not know that, so that's good. And then also in our last episode, we had it was kind of, we were doing a clickbaity top 5. Yeah. It was fun to talk about. We've talked about our favorite things, and this is like our top 5 once or whatever. But then someone reached out to you, right?
Yeah, Clinton sent me a copy of Felix the Cat. That was in my top 5, and I am so excited to have it. I just received it today. Yeah, which it worked out. We sort of did like a semi trade, but I mean, he really hooked it up with the game. So
yeah, because it's a
pricier game.
It's a pricier game.
It's hard to find. Like I've never seen it before. I've seen it at a few cons, but I just don't have the money to get it. So. We worked out a little trade and everything, but he really
Clinton, right? You said?
Yeah, Clinton. Yes, he really hooked it up, and I really appreciate it. Actually,
you got it right here. Let me look at it.
Me and Lexi actually went downstairs today and played it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah,
dude.
we burned through like 3 levels. It's pretty easy, which is pretty freaking awesome because it's not Nintendo hard. Yeah, it's like a platformer. So I really, really appreciate that, and man,
that's awesome.
I'm so excited to have this one because this has literally been one that I've been chasing for like a year or 2, and it's one that's been a thorn. So
yeah, and I saw the message exchange. He was just like, "Hey, dude, one of your top 5 ones, I could totally hook you up with." So that was real nice.
Totally, like I said, we thank you so much,
and we probably won't continue to do this. Just so you know, too.
Yeah,
this is kind of
and that wasn't the purpose of all that either. So I really appreciate it, and thank you very much.
We honestly,
so thank you.
Yeah, we are all you guys. We just we don't have Patreon or anything like that. We just eat the cost. We don't even talk about this either. You know how we used to always talk about like sponsors and stuff. Yeah, I hate to say this to like listeners because then they might be like, "Why are you ice all the time?" We have our fun like sponsored segments. Is like we've actually had some people reach out to us for sponsors, but we haven't quite found something that we kind of liked.
Really believe in that would fit with us. Type of deal.
And the other side of that is then you start to like worry about like making you guys sit through something like that, an ad, or like, hey, use our thing to get a discount on this thing you already have or something. And it just, at the end of the day, I was like looking at the analytics of it, and
it's not worth everybody listening through for that. So
so our listeners who even say, "Guys, these guys should have sponsors," and get kind of upset about it. We actually have, and that's been nice. And then when we all kind of talked about it, we actually kind of said, actually, this is. We're still okay just having you guys. We don't need to be
slinging dryer sheets to everybody, you know?
Yeah, we're still okay with you guys just every once in a while just showing some appreciation in whatever you want to do. We always ask for the iTunes reviews, and it's just only to get us to have more listeners, right? That kind of thing. And nothing against the people who grind and have to do this in this industry, and like this is their main thing, and it's a great like addition to streamers and just moving outside even retro stuff. Like more power to you. There's nothing wrong. The only reason we don't do it isn't because we're high and mighty, right? It's not we don't want the money.
That's definitely not the case.
It's just the energy versus the effort versus then we get fixated on things. It's probably not best for kind of what we're going for. We're just going for like
have fun.
Getting together, drinking some beers, meeting some fans, making some shirts, and feeling somewhat legit is fine with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing we should put under our Video Game Dads podcast. Eventually, we will feel somewhat legit.
Someday we will feel legit.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about this con. So, Missouri Game Con's in St. Louis, 3.5 hour drive ish from us. Adam was like working every day. He couldn't get there till day of. He had to work the night before, so he got up at 5 to like drive out there. But you and me, we at least got our hotel.
Yeah, we got the night before, so we got a little lucky on that part.
Yeah,
so.
But even with our busyness, we weren't even able to drive together. So
no, we had to drive separate. So you got down there a little bit earlier. So
yeah. You know, last year we were there. We were raising money for Shane's daughter Lexi.
Yes,
which is why we kind of wanted to give back this year too, because they were very nice. I think they let us, give us our booth for free and that kind of thing.
They helped us out a ton.
Yeah, and really let us run the kind of those Star Fox tournament and the money, or however we wanted to do it. And I think it was like a couple bucks a ticket, and this kind of thing. And but anyway, I had good intentions.
You had very good intentions.
I had good intentions, but I did not have a great plan because so we're busy as heck and we're planning this, and I was kind of telling the guys and Jake and everybody who runs it, they're trying to get all the personalities run a con together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've been kind of saying for the last month, like, hey, what's a good time? Because what I want to do is get you all dinner. Yeah. And mainly just the promoters and the stuff we helped last year is give them, what's considered some of the world's best barbecue here in Kansas City.
We got the best barbecue. I'll just say it. Yep, we do.
Yeah. It's all like, it's a fruitless effort. Even when we do the other PSVR podcast, people will come in and say like, City's barbecue is better. And it's just like, whatever. It's everybody's taste buds is different. Absolutely. I will just say there's lines every day for like an hour to get this food. And so I thought, hey, I will get some Casey Joe's, that, the stuff that the late Anthony Bourdain loved. Yep. And so many other people that won the American Royal and everything. And I'll bring it out and feed everybody dinner. And if there's some other people around, they can have it too. And by the time I got out there, it's like 8 o'clock. Yeah. And then you got out there more at 9. And I'm trying to text them, and this is when everybody's so like, I was then just thinking like, well, we could just get everything ready and like, cause there's heat up preparations the way I got it in like by the pound and like got some beans and all this. So we wanted to give back a little bit to these guys, but then it comes like we weren't able to meet them. So then that night we're like, we'll just break into the barbecue ourselves. Cause you and I stayed up a little late and we had
a lot of late,
to be honest with you. And actually it was kind of nice because we didn't, kind of nice. We love our families, but like it was a little bizarre. We didn't have any kids around.
Yeah. So we weren't chasing kids around and everything. So it's just a nice little break to just talking about like, because we went over like podcast stuff and then pricing games and everything like that. Because you had some games that you need to price out and everything. So
prepping for the con the next day and just talking about stuff and maybe future stuff like we don't really get a chance to do without being
it's very hard to get together just to talk about the future of the podcast. So that worked out really well, actually.
Life interrupts free time or your joint time. So anyway, but it was nice. So we stayed up late and did that. We ate some. And then I had this thing next day. I was thinking, we could bring it, to the con and then have the food ready. And that probably would have been a good idea. But I had this weird like anxiety trip where I was thinking, okay, this guy Ben from the Video Game Dads podcast is going to somehow food poison everybody. Can you imagine all the time, all the guys who put it together? And then if like Radical Reggie,
can I grab a sandwich?
Or anybody else, and then everybody throws up or something.
Yes,
I just realized
you're that guy.
Well, no, So, and again, that wouldn't have happened, but because I then felt like, it's been in a cooler overnight, and I've been keeping it cool, and then it's another day. Yeah, what if I make people sick? And so then we just kept it. We just kept it. But I had it all there. And anyway,
we ate good in the hotel room.
Yeah, we'll still have to keep good on the promise. But
hold a second, I got to tell the story. We didn't have plates though.
Oh yeah,
we didn't have plates. So at like 2:00 in the morning, we're tearing apart because we bought some beer. Tearing apart the beer boxes and using those as plates so we could warm up the barbecue because there obviously isn't an oven in the room.
No, it is a microwave, which is not ideal for cooking up brisket.
Yeah, not the greatest thing. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, and it was just
we're living that dad life right there.
Yeah, it was real bootsy. as they say.
That was bootsy. It was very bootsy.
Yeah, and so we're making this stuff, and it we didn't want to burn the paper, and then I didn't want the fumes to get into everything. It ended up being good and fine. We made a couple sandwiches out of all of it while we were drinking beers. We just looked like a mess, probably.
Barbecue sauce all in the room and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That hotel was nice of all things.
Yeah.
Wyndham or whatever. Wyndham.
Yeah, we got really lucky. You picked out a good one.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll be doing it again, shacking up for when we go to Portland. But anyway, so we get ready for the con next day. We run into Adam. Adam's there, and of course Michael, who's is part of the podcast the last 5 or 6 episodes.
Yep.
He would have been here, but he has a new baby. So
Congrats,
congratulations,
man.
Yeah.
Congrats. Yes.
So he is off on paternity leave. I always would do that because maternal and paternal I didn't know I always for years, and then I realized so he's taking care of that. So we met up with Adam and got our booth set up.
Yep, we got our tournament. We actually had a tournament set up for this con too. So we were holding a GoldenEye tournament.
Yeah. So last year was a Star Fox tournament. This year,
GoldenEye.
Yeah. And Adam was doing most of the running there. So we had another table right next to us. It was nice. We were kind of in the media side, so we were right next to the one-up card.
One-up cards, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're cool. They do a lot of video game cleaning apparatuses and stuff.
John Riggs actually uses that for his business card too. So yeah. And they had a couple new products there that people are sort of raving about too. So
what was that?
They had a Game Boy cleaner.
Oh.
Yeah, they had the Game Boy cleaner and another system one also. I can't remember, but yeah, they had a few new products, so that was really cool.
Yeah, very cool. And then on the other side of them was kind of the talent they brought in, basically the Metal Jesus crew.
Yep.
Jason, aka Metal Jesus Rocks. He was the big pull.
Yep.
And last year, they had Radical Reggie and John Riggs.
Yes.
So that was do the PSVR podcast with John Riggs, who was also our second video game dad of the week.
Yeah, second. Yep.
We have more to come of those funny dad of the week. We should just call him dad of the year the way we're doing it.
I know we're slow rolling this thing out.
Such high hopes, people. Yeah. So anyway, that was really cool to see them and hang out with. It was funny because Reggie came up to our booth and he's just looking at games.
Yeah, he was just grinding at games.
He didn't even know
gotta find something.
He was at us, and I came behind him and said, make sure you have your hands out of your pockets, sir, or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what I did. He's like, oh man. I was like, yeah, man. He's funny. But in his defense, we didn't have our normal sign out. We need to get a table skirt. That's probably what
we gotta get a table skirt.
Yeah, I think that's
the best thing.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
We're still learning, people. We're still learning.
Yeah. Kelsey was also there, and Kinsey, she's also on the Metal Jesus Rocks. She's a big Zelda fan.
Yes.
Got to meet her. Boy, she's a sweetheart.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Great person.
Yeah. I really enjoyed meeting her. And we hung out with them a little bit during the con.
Yeah.
They're the
it's a lot of hustle and bustle. Yeah. They got a lot going on. We had a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
So busy.
We were really busy. Yeah. And I was like, we were both trying to take time to get away, and we weren't eating. We totally need to plan that part a little better too. Have better nosh available.
Yes, for sure.
Anywho, and then Jason, he has over 500,000 subs.
Yeah, around half a mil. Yeah, half a mil.
Yeah, and he gets a whole lot of probably hate and a whole lot of people trying to jump on bandwagons and everything else. You could tell. Yeah, I mean, you just know that. You can tell that, and then he gets accused for driving up prices and all this. And I just know him as he's a guy that's broken through and it's got people to subscribe that if they only have one gaming thing, part of our audience is that too. They're not huge collectors or not huge YouTubers. And I like that when we do our little polls and we see who listens to us. It is kind of the average Joe who used to play Super Nintendo, who did whatever. And I kind of like that. And that's why we always have to sometimes be like, okay, let's not get too let's not get too crazy.
Not too geeky here, and let's tone it back a little bit.
Because there's plenty of that out there. There's a lot of YouTube. But anyway, so what Metal Jesus Rocks, his channel can do is it's quite brilliant. He gets a lot of great personalities that just happen to be his friends.
Yes.
And there's more than
that
the
are
ones
local to that
came
area
here.
too.
There's John Hancock. There's a few others and stuff. But he's realized hey, I will bring them in, and they all have different little aspects to offer, and it's a great little and the whole town's a nice little mecca. So I totally have always appreciated what he's done, but also, he's got a lot of top 10s, and then people make fun of that, and people make fun of hidden gems, and they think coined the term and all this.
Yeah.
And you know, he gets a lot of flack, and like always in his videos, he you know, he's always like, "Hey, Metal Jesus back again," and he's always kind of upbeat. And I was, it was really kind of cool to actually meet the man behind this.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
So,
and when I say the man, you know, behind it, obviously it's not a fake persona, but like even us, like I talk a little differently when we're doing a podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
Than I do in real life. And people even say that. Heck, we had some fans come up and say, "Oh, you sound a little different." I was like, "Well, it's because if I talk like this all the time, you know, I used to have a, you know, a background where I did music stuff, and I had to change it. My speaking voice is different, the setting I'm in or whatever, so it changes.
Yep.
But again, like, you know, just first time meeting the guy, I think I was just like, "Hey, you know, I'm a fan of yours." And, you know, while we were in the con, you know, he's having to meet all these people, you know, same with Riggs and everybody else.
Yes.
You know, I've said that before. And I understand it takes a lot of energy to do that. It's like, oh, what, to meet your fans, do autographs.
Nah, it's hard to keep up that energy and keep up upbeat and everything. I mean, there's a lot going on.
You never know. You're like 20th fan that comes up, you're like spacing out and you're thinking about something you said on the other one, and you're staring off and you're not listening, and then that person's perspective of you was like, this guy's a jerk or something. You never know, right? Yeah. So you always have to kind of be on it. So again, it's you know, props to them, because you do have to, you know, imagine just meeting, like having to do small talk and meeting people for 2 minutes at a time all the time. And
that's very hard.
That's what's probably nice why also, you know, him and his crew are out there, is he's got his friend base, right? And they all kind of got to be in the same place when they, you know, they'll come into a strange town too. It's not super strange, but you know, St. Louis is not where they're from, you know, and they're coming out.
Absolutely different.
But also, you know, this is a big shout out to the promoters and everything, and all the friends like Kurt and Martin and everybody, you know, doing their best to kind of make sure everybody's feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I'm getting at was, you know, he's actually, his personality is pretty funny.
It's sort of completely different than what it is on the videos.
And that was kind of cool to see. And again, I talked to the man 5-10 minutes or something. I think we were at a bar.
Yeah.
So afterward, all this, some of us went to
David and Buster's.
Yes, Dave and Buster's, and played some games, which it was funny because I'm just like, hey, you know, do what everybody else wants to do. I was thinking like, that's a lot of stimulus after leaving a place with a lot of stimulus.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, this is probably what you do when you're getting your fix or something. If I was doing the stuff you do in your veins, it's like, you want more of it, I guess. Yeah. Because I was all about like, find an English pub or something.
Yeah, that's where I was like, what's a speakeasy house? Hide out in the basement and drink lots of whiskey and beer.
Yeah. But we ended up going to Dave and Buster's, and I talked to him for a little while. And he's actually kind of sarcastic.
Yeah.
He has a dry sense of humor. At one point, somebody said something, and I had to like cover my shirt, and I grabbed my hands to my chest. And he said something like, "Oh, you're just covering up your man boobs," and I just imagine Metal Jesus Rocks, the guy watching on YouTube, just comment on my man boobs, and I instantly was like, "Oh man, I have been wanting to lose some weight before." And I was just thinking, "Oh, this is just this is normal Raz." Again, it's the thing that you like to see is the personality behind the persona. So he has a great persona that kind of is open to talk about games. He usually plays the thing that I play on the podcast when you guys start talking about a game series, and I'm like, well, what is that? What is this one? Because I'm realizing
you have to play it up. Yes, you have to really dig it out.
It's not because I don't know it, because people point that out to me. It's like, why doesn't that third guy know?
Ben doesn't really know much. He talks a lot, but he doesn't really know much. It's like, no, he actually knows more than me, but he just has to dig it out of us. He's really helping us out. So
yeah, it's just you kind of have to play the dumb person in order to get people to answer more questions that you want. So they could say, well, what kind of genre is that? Because I realized we went over it.
Yeah.
Not because I don't know what it is. And he does that in his videos too.
I think some people get confused with that.
Yeah. So let me get the record straight. People who think that Mr. Man, like, he knows 100% what's going on. He's just very good at what he does.
Yes,
very good. I think everything from his personality to his editing, obviously, and everything else is exemplary. And you can't accidentally get 500,000 frickin' subscribers.
No, you don't do that by accident. You got some talent. So
anyway,
it was just really cool to see his
props
different
to that
kind
dude.
of humor.
Yeah. Everybody else we met. So,
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
guys. And we also had the Mortal Kombat guys.
Yeah, and meaning like the OG original Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
So those that don't know, most of you probably do. So the original kind of motion capture sprite work or whatever
digitized.
Digitized photographs of actual actors,
actual people.
Yeah, from the original Mortal Kombat. So that's why when you were a kid like me and just didn't know and just said graphics, like, oh, these graphics look real.
Because they actually saw it.
And that's why all the thing with the pulling out the heart.
People.
Yeah, so these were real people, and two of them were there. The guy who played Kano, the guy with the red eye, his name is Richard DeVizio, and then also Master Daniel Pesina, who was Johnny Cage, right? The uppercut to the whatever, and he was on the side art of the art, and he also played Scorpion, you know, Noob Saibot and the others, and they actually played multiple characters.
Yes.
In a couple of them. They were there, and that was just so freaking cool. So they were there, and they had autographs, and I made sure to bring a couple personal things for them.
I have such a weird story I got to sort of tell.
Yeah, go.
So at the end of the con, sorry, I'm flash forwarding here real quick, but at the end of the con, I was loading up the car, and I'm just sitting there, just tired as could be, and I look up, and I see Johnny Cage and Kano just handing boxes to each other, and I was just thinking, and they were in normal clothes, but I was just thinking in my mind, I was just like, oh my God, friendship. Like it was a fatality, and I could just see them in the clothes, and then friendship just pops up above them. I'm like, that was the weirdest thing in my life that I probably experienced. It was just so weird because I was just thinking back as a kid when I was playing, and it's these dudes are just doing normal things.
Yep.
I think I'm the one that has a problem, but it was
weird.
weird.
That's hilarious. No, that's good. Yeah, it was cool because when I went up to him, I had to wait. You know, the timing of everything at our booth. I waited till there was a good time to go up there, and then when I finally did, I talked to them both, and they each had like a handler or something per usual.
Yeah.
Like, so if you've heard my con stories before, usually, there's a charge for like a photo or for an autograph, but it wasn't bad. It was like, if you have a personal item, it's $10 to sign, which is about as low as you can ever hope to get.
That's a good
And
price.
these guys do the big cons, like the Comic Cons and the whatever and everything else.
They actually do cons.
Yeah, so I had a couple things I wanted to bring in. I brought in like we'll put these up on Facebook, all our pickups and everything, but a mini, really nicely crafted by this bonsai master guy on eBay of a mini cabinet that's like 6 inches high of Mortal Kombat, and I wanted them to sign each side of it.
Yeah.
So I had that done, and of course I talked to him a little bit also just about one of the posters I had. I have this kind of vinyl poster I had him sign. So I had him sign two things. The famous poster which shows Kano and Raiden coming out of the arcade and grabbing these two kids that look like they're 8 years old.
Yep.
That one was hard to find, but I luckily looked for it on eBay like a month before and had him sign that. And it was funny because I think it was Richard Kano was like, what's funny is that kid in the front was like the producer's son.
Oh, really?
Something like that. They just got him in the last minute. So it's cool to just hear all these kind of these kind of behind the scenes
things that you would never even know about. Yeah, that's cool.
And it was funny because Johnny Cage, Master Daniel Pesina, which also he's like
karate master.
Yeah, like tournament winner all around the world and stuff. If you've only heard of UFC, this is like UFC before UFC importance of stuff. And he's still in great shape.
He's doing some spinning kicks in his spare time.
Yeah,
still.
He could still annihilate me with only like probably 3 muscles of his hand or something. And Kano also had the little eye thing. I had a picture of him holding my little box, but I wish I would have had Kano put on his little eye.
The eye thing,
but I also felt bad because I wanted a picture with the thing they were signing. They were great. They were awesome to have. It was great to see. Obviously, they had a lot of fans coming out.
Yeah, they had a cool little backdrop, too. It was like a Mortal Kombat backdrop. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. But anyway, and I talked about the gray heart or something. They also had a heart, like, for pictures. So they had a couple little props that they could take for pictures.
Oh, yeah, I seen the ice. Yeah, the ice, yeah.
And so cool. The lady next to the Kano guy had the heart, and I was like, I had the Super Nintendo, so that really should have been gray. And so thank God he knew what I was talking about because he was like,
you might have pulled your heart out of your chest for that one.
Yeah, no kidding. And then the guy who created Rampage. The old Rampage game, yes. Brian Colin was there as well. And I kind of looked at his schedule. He goes around to a lot of cons. So if you see him near you, he's a wonderful guy. He had some things to sell and this and that. And I brought a Mylar, which, if you don't know, that's the top of the marquee. It's the top of the arcade marquee.
Yeah.
The actual piece is called a Mylar. I don't know. I just know that because when I searched
I always just call them marquee.
Yeah. It's basically the marquee. But I think that's also the glass or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get technical. Just so
yeah.
you know, if you're trying to find one, search MYLAR or something, and then you'll find it. I searched the Rampage one, and he signed that, and he doesn't charge for signatures, so that was awesome. He also has some pictures of him like meeting The Rock and everything on set.
Yeah, because they had him come out on the set for that the new Rampage movie. That was really cool.
And he said so he had a small bit part in the movie, and he said they cut him out.
Did they?
Unfortunately, but he's in the DVD extras.
Okay.
So I will now
cool.
pick up the DVD for that, and if I see him again, I'll have him sign it. And
he also worked on General Chaos, which is one of my favorite Sega Genesis games.
I know. I told you that. So
yes.
if you're,
I did bring the box with me, but I didn't have him sign it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was so busy that day, so I didn't get a chance to run down there. And then I sort of got sick during the con, so it didn't work out. But
sick
right.
meaning we were going on no sleep and not eating.
Not eating, yes. So I was working on a full-blown migraine, but it didn't come about, so I was able to go out a little bit later on the night, so it all worked out.
Probably us staying up and getting 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, probably
had a lot to do with it the night before. But it's hard. It's like you're excited and getting everything done. So we set up the table, and we did pretty good. I sold a good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
We selling doubles from our collection. You did too, Shane.
I got rid of a few RPGs that I just knew that I was never gonna play, so I got rid of those too.
And those are people were really liking all that.
Yeah.
And also as like now having a booth a couple times, I was gonna say this. I hope this is interesting to our listeners. I found that like really like how you set up your booth is really important.
It really
to
matters.
how you sell stuff.
Yeah.
If you kind of haphazardly put stuff there, you put them in places where it's not easy on the eyes, or you don't price stuff,
or in a box or something like that.
Yeah, like price your stuff, because I was with now, we each have different stuff, and we have to have a little ledger to keep like, okay, Shane sold this for $8, Ben sold this for 12. Adam sold this for 15, or
so
like
you're
$2
selling
or
stuff
whatever.
and keeping track of stuff.
Yeah,
and then if you have fans come up, you're keeping track of that. It's just like, man,
it's a lot to keep track of. And then you also kind of want to get away here and there and like look at the games yourselves and kind of trade off and that kind of thing. And you don't want to miss the opportunity to miss somebody that wanted to say hi to more than one of us or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of the nice thing, I guess. It was like we had like 15, 20 people come up to us and recognize us.
It made me feel like there's a purpose of us doing that. I mean, not to say that I haven't before, but it just made me really drive home. And I think ever since I've gotten back from St. Louis, I've been sort of like thinking about more things about the podcast. Just it helped us out, for me at least, to meet the fans, like 15, 20 people to meet us. To me, that's a ton of people.
Yeah.
Like it just really, I really, really appreciate that. Like, got to talk to 15 fans. That was really freaking awesome.
Yeah. Or they'll just come up and they look like anybody else who just comes up, because a lot of people, they'll be like, you guys have a store, or you guys have this, and then when they'll say like, oh, I'm a listener, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then
well, they would buy something and then at the tail end, hey, I listened to the podcast, I've listened to it since then, and it's like, what?
I know.
Why did you start with that? Like,
I know. I would have given you a better deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
absolutely.
We dealed pretty well. But some of the people, and so also shout out to like we're not gonna name all the fans. We didn't do good on this. We realized later, or halfway through, we're like, we should write down the names of all these people, so we could say, hey, we appreciate blah 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 blah. So at least some of the ones we know. Let's see. Shout out to Chris Johnson came up, Henry. A guy named Justin. The guy who won the GoldenEye tournament. We could shout him out. His name's Matt.
And, he killed it, man.
Yeah, so
awesome job, man.
Sorry, we ended up having a NES Classic plus a controller as a prize, and then also a boxed GoldenEye 64 and GoldenEye Perfect Dark was then the second place.
Yeah, the Perfect Dark. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that was neat. I think pretty good turnout. Do you know how many people played?
Not for sure, but it was a pretty good turnout. Yeah.
I didn't.
Turned out really good.
Yeah, shout out to Adam keeping track of all that.
Good job, Adam.
Yeah, but that was the second time. So every time we've been there, we've had a
tournament. Yeah.
Maybe
next year, no tournament.
I know. Well, I mean, it is.
I don't know. It's sort of nice, though. It is sort of cool.
It is nice because it's like, I don't know, but it's like it's not bad. And plus, I feel like even next year, they pick good games for us to ask us to do. Star Fox 64. maybe we just pick. How about this? You know, Mister, you love Bomberman. If they came up and said, "Oh, Bomberman," you're not going to say
probably
no.
Like,
I know. You're going to be like, well, which one do you want? I've got 12 different Bombermans.
Which one?
I'm your man. Do I have to dress up too? Oh, I don't need to. Well, I'll do it anyway. Yeah, I don't even know if there's a Bomberman outfit out there, but you would probably have it, right? You would.
Maybe.
Yeah, you would. It's okay.
It's okay.
Bomberman's cool.
Okay.
I'm glad.
Awesome.
I'm glad I finally played it a little bit instead of just hearing about it since knowing you, because I just knew it as like a Bomberman game.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was, and it's cool. It is a cool game, but I'm not great at it. And
I'm not either. I suck at it. And I love it.
No, you're pretty good.
That's the sad thing.
Now you got like 30 years playing it on me though. That's the difference. So anyway, and then it's also neat, like, fans, like seeing vendors again, that we've met before is really nice. Shout out to a guy who runs, Prestige Electronics. I met him last con and he was just really nice. One of those guys you can just talk to. And, you don't have to know.
Yeah, he even came by our booth and I talked to him a little bit too. And you went over to his booth and was looking at a few things. So
yeah. His name's
really
Ken.
Nice guy.
Ken Lerdahl. He owns a electronics store. It does like repairs and also sells some things, sells some video games. Kind of does all that. Like he'll fix your phone screen and also sell you a Super Nintendo or something like that. It's kind of one of those places. But shout out to him, Prestige Electronics. If he's the owner and runs the business and he's a cool dude, you got to figure from top to bottom, it's a nice establishment. So I would recommend that place. So shout out to him and thank you for listening. He's been he was one of those, like, he started listening and we had 30. He's like, I went back and listened to them all. I was like, geez, good for you, thank you. But podcasts that made the drive better too. I went out and I listened to Kelsey's Game Blitz podcast. That's a good podcast because, again, they own a store, so that's a very different perspective. And they go to E3, but they don't go to E3 as like IGN. They go, as they store and just they distribute Hyperkin stuff. It's that's a different take on it. But anyway, their podcast is called Game Blitz. Helps the time go by as well. Also, shout out to there's a barcade kind of, but it's funny. It's a barcade, but when I went there, it's small. It's kind of like a dive barcade. So it's not super flashy, but it's just right. It's like it's not the biggest bar in the world, but it's like you could see everybody, you could see the games. The game selection was wonderful. The setup was wonderful. I like it because it's not so overwhelming. It's like you could just step outside if you need to. Yeah. And it's the bar guy was well, really nice because I left my dang credit card there. So also shout out to Kurt, aka Dirty. He runs another. He's in a podcast, the PSVR podcast I do with John Riggs and Martin. Martin was there too, so it was nice to see him. And he's going to be a dad coming up. So.
Congrats, man.
So he got a shirt. Hopefully he's wearing it right now. I don't know. That was a weird thing to say. And Matt was also there. Matt Gurley, Maynard. There's Charlie. There's a lot of guys out there. Sorry. So went to that Two Plumbers. The owner of the guy was really nice because I was going to do a little 15-minute interview with Kelsey. And again, they are brought in by... MoGameCon, and we are not part of MoGameCon. No, we help try to promote them and tell you about them and stuff.
Try to tell everybody about them, but we're not part of them.
So we don't want to take anything about. So I made sure to ask everybody, like, it's okay if I do a little 15-minute interview, and obviously like no one cares, but I still ask. And they're at a place where it's a meet and greet for people who pay for the VIP tickets. And the VIP tickets are a premium price, and so. But anyway, I was able to do a little 15-minute interview that you'll hear at the end of this one with Kelsey. And he let us be in the back of his little brewing area. Oh, cool. The owner, I was just kind of like, hey, because outside's like 1,000,000 degrees with 180% humidity.
Yes. Smoldering hot.
You don't know me from Adam. Can I go, Adam Crowley? Can we go in this room to knock out a quick little interview or something? And he said, yeah, sure. And he was very hospitable. So that was really nice. So shout out to Two Plumbers. But anyway, really nice to see a lot of these guys in Portland in 2 months.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't believe Portland Retro Gaming Expo. We said we go every 2 years.
Every 2 years, we're on track. Yeah. Right on track.
Yeah, that'll be a ton of fun. So like the actual con, let's just, it was a very successful con.
Yes.
I've been to all three. The first one was in a lodge.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah, and they had, probably, I don't know, 25 tables. and a ton of people showed up. It was very successful.
Yep.
You know, everything was low entry to get in there. I remember getting some really cool games, but it was just, they needed a bigger venue. And then the second year, they went very big. They went in an arena that I think the arena, because of like, they also had the arena themselves, right? Not MoGameCon. You know, they take feedback from everything. The first one was, hey, it's too tight and cramped and we're waiting outside. So they took care of that. So there was absolutely, you know, waiting. But they ended up having a venue that was probably pretty expensive that also charged and took all the parking, right?
Yes. Nobody liked the parking
and
fees,
so that doesn't, you know, MoGameCon is very much to say, I told Jake, I think he says in the interview, it's like, you know, people kind of thought we were taking a lot of money from that. And it's like, no, it's part of the
get none of
contract.
it.
So live and learn. He's like, learning process. This next year, I said this is a goal. I kept telling him
it's a home run this year. I think they hit the middle ground perfect on this one.
Yeah.
Perfect venue.
Right? Third time's a charm, as
yeah,
they
third
say?
time's a charm for sure.
Yeah.
They did great.
Yeah. It has to be so much work, so many logistics and everything to kind of do this out of an idea. Just like our podcast. Like, we were talking about this podcast a year before we did it. And why couldn't it be just like anything else, like of our lives, where we talk about something and then don't do it? But we did enough stuff that even right before, do you remember, like right before we started, we almost pulled the plug.
Yeah,
like,
almost pulled the plug on
this ain't gonna work or whatever. And I'm glad we all stuck to it. And it's nice to think about, you know, as our kids are young, right?
Yes.
So it's not interactive right now. And we have like stories about it with like how we even attempt to try to play video games. But in the future, it'll be nice because it'll be something that they can kind of come and be a part of a little bit more, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll include them or something on an episode or something like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, besides just the bye-bye that's in most of our earlier episodes at the very end.
We need to start adding that again. I really missed that.
Well, yeah, I know. It's because the editing, we moved some files around and it's actually not the... It's in a weird place. It's not on purpose. Adam and I both do it now. We don't leave it on.
I miss it.
I could put it on. I'll put it on at the end of this. How about this? I'll put on the little bye-bye at the end. I'll just I'll find it. It has to be somewhere. But you know, just have more interaction. We've talked about having the wives on at some point. And then we realized, well, if the dads are on and the wives are on, where are the dang kids?
Who's watching those dang kids?
And we have like 12 of them all together. The show floor had 100 tables. They were all sold out. They had a bunch of pre-tickets. And when people came in, there was a good little crowd. I posted some photos of when the crowd was there at its
they had a really cool like VIP thing. So the VIP was like a premium thing that they paid, but they got in an hour early to go shopping. Yeah. So I was a little worried because I forgot that they had the VIP thing going. So there was like 30 or what was it? I don't know, 30, 40 people or something. But they came in and I was like, man, this is going really slow.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I just totally forgot about that. And next thing you know, it was like, boom.
Yeah.
It was craziness after that, just packed.
No, I thought, but we only spent like 30 minutes setting up, which wasn't, I mean, again, we were having to come and Adam had to come kind of late because of his job. So like we got everything set up, but like literally with like a minute to spare.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the stuff that was around. So like we all did some shopping. We all had some pickups.
Yep.
We hope to either have like a Facebook video available for you guys, or at least photos of all of our
everybody's pickups. Yep.
And we all kind of picked up different eclectic stuff. We're going to talk about the pickups that we had here shortly. But something that caught my eye right at the beginning when I sat down and like looked across is I saw a Samsung GX TV.
Oh, GX TV, yeah.
And
you kept on coming back to me and was asking, "Oh, dude, should I get this? Should I not? Should I get it? Should I not? I don't know."
Yeah, and it was one of those. It wasn't like my top 5 once or whatever. I didn't put it on my thing, but for those,
it should have been on your top 5.
Yeah, it should have been. For those that don't know, the Samsung GX TV was originally marketed as a gaming TV from 1996 to 1998. They were usually sold in Funko Land. They're very unique looking, very 90s looking.
Yes.
So they have a subwoofer attached. There's a 13-inch TV, which is pretty small, but it's a very sharp CRT. Just a standard def only, right? It's 96.
Yeah.
But the sound quality in this thing,
awesome.
If you have one that is working great, it is just booming.
Yes.
It has a subwoofer in the top, and then it has basically like doors that are in front of the screen that fold closed, and it looks great closed, that then open up like a clamshell. And then inside, more speakers. It is something that I've always wanted. Sometimes you find it in beat up shape. We've talked about the Sharp TV before, and that's never tickled my pickle.
Yeah.
But the GX TV I've always wanted.
This is like the PlayStation version. To me, when I look at the thing, because I have one also, and it's like, I look at it and it's almost like the PlayStation version of the Sharp TV.
Yeah, the original PlayStation, like that kind of Attitude Era type thing. Yeah. Definitely. And I've just always wanted one, and there was one there, and it was a good price.
Yes.
It was basically priced like a not great quality one of it. They used to go back in the day for like you could pick one up for $20 here and there if you got lucky and knew what you were looking at. And sometimes 60 and sometimes 70. And now they're getting over 100.
Yeah.
But nothing like a Sharp TV. Sharp TVs are what, like a couple grand or something like that? Or
I don't think they're that much. Yeah, they're like 500 to 800. Okay. Yeah. But still, for what they are, I mean, that's like the bare bones, just TV type of deal. So, yeah.
Yeah. But this one, the guy had just for a little over 100, and it had the remote, which that's hard to find. Which is hard to find. It's a very specific remote that says,
it says that on there, doesn't it? GX TV on there.
Yeah, it sure does. So I guess spoiler alert, I did end up getting it. My idea was I wanted to wait because I went up to him right at the beginning and I made him an offer, or maybe it was like, and then he was like, well, con just started. And I was trying to get like a good 25% off, not the normal 10 that you should start out with kind of at the con, especially at the beginning. And the idea is to soft play and hope to get it at the end. And I was doing that, but then as I took a break about 2 or 3 hours into it, I'm like, I'm coming down to 10 or 20 bucks. And even Reggie, out of all, Radical Reggie, I love that man. He's a good buddy of mine. He'll even tell me like, man, if it comes down to $5, he'll leave it. If the deal's not good enough, he'll leave it. But he was even telling me like, you should probably pick it up. And he's a guy that normally says, leave it on the table. Unless you're 100% go for it. So even he was saying it. Then I was like, okay, if Reggie's saying for me to buy this, I need to buy this dang thing. What am I doing?
Do it.
So yeah, I kind of felt like that whole, like you're sitting on the side of the, what is it? The dance at school. Like, God, should I ask her? What if she doesn't say it? What if she just do this? What if my braces click together and I spark?
I was just like, oh my God, just get the dang thing, man.
So I did. I got it. And I popped that sucker in to see if it worked, and I borrowed the GoldenEye tournament because no one was sitting there for a second. And then instantly when I turned it on, the beginning of that GoldenEye 64, it goes
just jamming.
But it like keep in mind this arena was loud as heck.
Yeah,
literally everybody like turned their head to be like, what the heck just happened?
We're playing some GoldenEye up in here.
Yeah, and I'm so like whatever. I'm so like now that I have it, it's
closing the doors on it.
It's my precious. Like, as soon as it was done, it was like, oh man, we could use that as like the rest of our day's tournament. And I'm like, let me just button this.
Let me button this up. I'm gonna tuck that in the back. No, nobody touch it.
Styrofoam. Yeah, I instantly. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that sucker. I'm so happy to have it. Just I'm not even sure which retro corner or what I'm going to use specifically for, but I'll probably use that.
You'll find somewhere. You'll make a do with it. You'll do a good job.
Yeah, make a little area for it. But I'm really happy to have that. And what helped me get that too was I sold something pretty. I thought it was going to be an attract mode type thing.
Yeah,
I have that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video games Konami Ultra double-sided new old stock NOS display. It's about 2.5 feet by 4.5 feet tall. It's like hard cardboard. These things are all kind of destroyed.
Yeah, it doesn't roll up.
Yeah, and it basically shows like the video games, shows the Turtles, and it shows like the Game Boy version of Fall of the Foot Clan, the NES version, and the 2 handheld versions.
It hits so many different versions of the Turtles. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is a real like how you talk about many different display pieces.
Yeah,
it kind of hits everything. Like you said, it's got the colors, it's got the rarity. I know it'll be crazy of what I put this up for what, $275.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money for a sign. Yeah.
But when you actually go on eBay and look, I've seen things that
you don't find it
are the size of, well, not only do you not find it, but like I saw a SNES like recently, probably if you're listening to this, you can find, like you look up Nintendo display, an SNES F-Zero display sold for $599.
Yeah.
And that's sold for, right?
Yes.
And then you can look at like Nintendo 64 kiosks, just the metal housing brackets that don't look extra special. Those sold for, how much was that? That was I think $380.
Yeah,
you could pay a machinist. You could pay a freaking metal fabricator a quarter of that to make it custom with like your initials in it if you wanted to. And it's like, sorry. So what I'm saying is like some of this display stuff is super overpriced.
Yes.
So I didn't even try to go crazy. I just went at like what I think.
What you think? Yeah.
Yeah. And I ended up.
I think that was a very fair price. I mean, it's a good price.
Yeah. And there were some
everybody.
people interested in. They did the same thing at the end of the con. Someone came up to me and he was like, "All right, what's your bottom?" And I came down a little, but not very much.
Yep.
Because I was fine to just keep it because people came over to take pictures of it and stuff. But he ended up, we agreed on a price, and he was very happy, and I was very happy. So that was nice.
Yeah, that was awesome sale. Yeah, that was a cool piece. I mean, they brought a lot of people to the booth too.
Yeah,
so, really cool piece.
So that was nice. I actually, and also shout out to Trading Games. You know, he was there again. He's the guy on if you see on YouTube, he's got a crazy collection.
Yeah,
it's
got
him and Hancock.
Collection. Yeah, his kiosk collection is the one.
Yes.
The room, what's it called?
Ultimate Kiosk Collection. I mean, he has 36 different kiosks or something like that, and they're all. And he's very OCD about, and I think he's okay with me saying that, because he likes the complete, like we all are.
Everything
to an extent.
complete. Yep.
He wants everything complete. He was selling a display that I still was 50-50. I was thinking about getting, and he had a Zelda Ocarina of Time cardboard display that sits in the corner of the room. If you've seen it before,
it's a big
really
brick
nice.
wall with Zelda on there, or a young Link. A young Link on there.
Yep, a young Link, and it looks like a castle. I've seen this before, and this still sell for a lot. And he had it at a good price. It was like $200.
Yeah.
But I'm not huge on Zelda, and it would have stayed in that box for a long time. It was brand new. It was a good price. That he gave, I just wasn't going to do it because to me it wasn't worth that, even though I know it was as low as he could go and everything.
Yeah.
So I almost pulled the trigger on it, but at the end of the day, it was nice to actually pocket a good chunk of change.
At the end of the day, you like $200 in your pocket.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah. And that made me think like, shoot, I'll sell more games because I just, had the whole trip and everything paid for by selling some stuff that I had as doubles.
Just laying around. Yep.
Yeah. Making deals. It was nice. Even this little kid came up at one point and he like found a game and it took him forever, and he was doing the whole paying me with whatever, and he said $3, and I was like, yeah, and he was starting to get it out, and I was just like, all right, we're gonna do something a little different here. I want you to say, I'm gonna give you, and I basically had him speak out how to haggle me.
How to haggle.
And I was like, oh, you drive a hard bargain or whatever.
This is how you haggle.
Yep. And so I basically had him haggle me, and he talked me down, and he did good, and I said, all right, there you go. And it was fun.
That was cute.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. Do you anything else that stood out to you? There was a nice, Rich and the guys, they also did a nice video game museum. So
yeah, they did like a little mini museum thing where you could walk through and check out some of the cool stuff.
Yeah. Rare consoles, things like that.
Yeah, that was neat.
That you'd like never see and never find. I mean, Amiga CD. I mean, all the like you want to talk obscure, the crazy obscure
Those
stuff.
were obscure systems. Absolutely.
I took pictures of everything. The that PlayStation X system.
Oh,
that only
PSX.
Came out, that only came out overseas or whatever.
Yeah. Wish we would have got that over here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we covered. Everything I could think of. Really good vendors. Everybody's willing to work on prices. That's the thing that was really cool. Everybody that I talked to, not that I bought a lot, but it seemed like anybody who was trying to buy anything, they were willing to work on prices. So, I mean, really good prices there and everything. So
yeah. So those are the main people that we saw. What else? ADD Gamer, Xbit Gaming. Those are another couple guys that you had written down. I didn't meet them, but it must have been when you came by.
Yeah, came by.
So that was the other thing. I'm sorry if, and Adam too, if we didn't meet everybody, and also if Shane was gone.
Yeah.
It was just so random. I think next time we'll take a picture with y'all, and then
try to figure out. It helps put everything together then when we take a picture.
Yeah, so let us know.
It all sort of ran together.
I know. It's like when we meet people when we're going through all the deals.
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we definitely do. And sorry for a little start. It's a big day.
Yes.
It's a big day to do all that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think what people would always like to hear is pickups.
We
Got some fun stuff we've picked up. Let's talk about it. I have a lot of like non-con pickups that we weren't able to talk about last time because that got messed up. And I think what we'll do is we'll just leave all the other pickups, and some of it got at that the Warrensburg.
Oh, the Rockin' Sports, yes.
Yeah, Rockin' Sports like a month or two ago I still haven't talked about, so I need to talk about it. We'll just do it next time, but I'll say this, little spoiler alert, I picked up another kiosk. Kiosk. I did it, and not Shane for the 100th time.
I'm jelly.
So now we're up to 12 between the three of us, 12 kiosks.
Yeah.
We are crazy. I'm so happy about it. This was one of those. It was in a church. It was like 3 hours away. And it's in perfect shape, and it is complete.
Shh, don't tell them the whole deal. Don't tell them the whole deal.
But it's like normal, and it's nice. I really like it. It was so fun, and it went to good money because it went to a church. But I love it.
Dog.
Oh yeah,
Lucky.
We just totally geeked out on that one. But okay, we'll save that, and then another cool display piece that I have that I really want to talk about too.
Yep. We got some really cool pickups coming next week.
I know. Sure. We'll talk about it next week. I think we'll just leave it to the cons. So back to you, Shane. Take it away. What did you get?
Okay, I had some trade credit with Adam because we did a huge trade. We're still working that out.
But you guys are like the bank of whatever. Yeah, you guys have been talking about this forever.
It just keeps going. I don't know how we're gonna work this out, but
what I mean, go a little into the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the heck it is. Like, what are you trading, and what are you?
I traded him just two of the heavy hitters is the Power 100 N64 controller.
Yeah,
very hard to find.
It is
very. I'd call it rare.
Yeah, look it up. It was basically a Nintendo Power
exclusive
points.
Yeah, yes, you'd have to get it that way.
But since it says Nintendo on it, it's a lot of money because Nintendo people.
And then Ice 9 on Game Boy Advance with the manual. Yeah. Pretty hard to find.
Yeah, it's
pretty hard to find.
Ice 9 is a first-person shooter.
Yeah, first-person shooter. So on the GBA, which is very uncommon because you wouldn't expect to see that on the GBA, but it's there, and it's actually really good game.
Well, I could get super nerdy. I was going to say there's about 9 of them, and I own all of them. And Ice 9 to me, it's the best.
You think Ice 9 is the best? Really, added like Doom and like Wolfenstein and everything.
Doom and Wolfenstein are great. There's a couple others, but like Ice 9, when you get into that one, it is. I mean, what pushes it over? It's so unassuming, and it's finally now getting up because a couple people are talking about it. If you ever see Ice, that's why you dig through the GBA games. It was based off a movie that came out with like that guy who was like foreign that talked British or whatever. Dang it, I forget his name. But anyway, that is a great freaking game. But you gave that up?
Yeah, I gave that up. Yeah, I'm not going for expensive GBA games. It's like if I'm going to sit down, I'm going to sit down and play a console game. Like
it's so good, but
but this is why I gave it up because I got King of Dragons. Capcom game.
So tell me about
beat 'em up.
I know. Okay, yes. I know King of Dragons.
Yes, it's a beat 'em up. It's sort of like a King Arthur style type of beat 'em up, but it's actually like 4 players that you could pick from.
That's very
multiplayer. So that's what I'm really digging right now is like the beat 'em ups and shooters, just like those quick hitters where if you play it for an hour or two, you might have a chance of beating the dang thing.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at in my gaming life right now.
Our existence,
and they're a little bit shallower experiences, but I enjoy them though. They're fun. Yeah. So, and then I also got one that reviewed on the Video Game Book Club, Skyblazer.
Yeah, that was my Super Nintendo pick. Let me look at the cover. I love the cover because it's so weird.
Yes, and it's so good.
Yeah, go back and listen. Again, if you're new, I don't know. The Skyblazer episode was so nice because I never heard of the game. It might as well have just been fabricated out of thin air.
Yep.
And then when I played it, I was like, holy Toledo. Crap. What a great freaking game.
That makes you wonder, like, there's got to be some more out there like that. Like, those are the ones you chase. Like, to me, Skyblazer's a really great platformer, really great looking hidden gem.
It's one of the rare times. I'm not a big fantasy guy. I'd rather do sci-fi. Fantasy to me is a little bit too much like, oh, you have a British accent, you wear a long cape and you hop around. When is this going to be Lord of the Rings?
Yep.
And you're like going on an adventure and all this. Nothing against it. Fantasy... I like elves and whatever. It's okay. It just that doesn't get me going.
Yep.
It's the crazy sci-fi stuff.
Yep.
But Skyblazer doesn't necessarily have sci-fi. No. It has a lot of fantasy elements, but it also has this weird kind of worldly, like almost Oriental element.
Yeah,
it's so different.
It's so different.
It does it in a way that it's not. I don't know, superfluous. Like when some of these fantasy things
flows really well, man.
The yonder of the blah, always in the seven, and don't go down into the hoggle of the buggles, into the cave and find the potion of the buggles. Sorry, this is what fantasy stuff does to me. I'd rather have a cyborg come out and shoot someone in the face for taking his oil, or I don't know what cyborgs are getting mad about. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. So have you played it, right?
Yeah. I actually fired it up and tested it out and make sure, but yeah, it's awesome. We did video game book club, so I played it before. Yeah. Awesome game.
And you sold sold some shirts, I forgot, right?
Yes, did well on the shirts, so that was awesome to get rid of a few of those and give them to some fans. So did good. It was a good con.
Yeah. Real good. Is that it for your pickups?
That's it.
Okay.
Real small.
So I already kind of talked about the autographs and things like that. I didn't pick up a ton. One of my first pickups was like a Sega Sports Dreamcast controller, the black controller, that has it's all blacked out and stuff. I forget how much I paid. I want to say like $7. Pretty sure.
A good deal.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, good deal.
I just remember I went up and they had it,
those.
and I asked for it. It was already a good price. I asked for $2, and I got a lot of them. I don't necessarily need it. I just was like, yep. That's awesome.
You need another one.
It's fun to pick up a Dreamcast related item. I also, this was like the second time. I wanted this. So I got most of these things that I kind of random. There's a game called, and this will probably, early spoiler alert, when we get to PS2, which is pretty quick, is there's a game for the PlayStation 2. It's called The Red Star.
Yep.
And this is something that kind of plays like a Super Smash TV / Cannon Spike / like dual joystick shooter. It deals with like, what if Soviet Russia kind of won and you're in America? It's got this kind of alternate. It's done before. The Cold War went not the way you wanted it to, and it's this game that like nobody's heard of. Again, it's called The Red Star. And in the last 3 to 4 years, when people have started kind of silently going out,
figuring out,
the price has gone up from being a $20 game to being like a $60 game. Well, the guy the booth I got it for already had it at a nice price at $40, and I'm pretty sure what I got it was $30. So I got it at $30. Pretty sure.
Was it? Okay.
I think that's what I said. It was either 30 and I got it down to 20.
I think it was 30 down to 20.
Or I think 40 that's down to 30. Either way, it's
yeah.
a good price. And it's in mint condition, so I was really happy to get that. So again, when we do it, it'll probably be my book club pick. So if you ever see it and you're looking for PS2, you know, everybody's like, PS2. No, if you see the Red Star, pick that sucker up. Yep. I also, for one booth, cool. This is the same guy. Sorry, I don't know his name, but he's been at the con a couple times, and he always has good stuff. He's set up like an expensive reseller because he's got a lot. But when you actually look at the prices, they're already good.
Yeah,
and he
does
deals
have good prices. Yep.
So I got for the Sega CD on a blind buy, Who Shot Johnny Rock?
Who Shot Johnny Rock?
And the cover of it has this blonde lady with an Uzi and a really awkward
totally like
pose.
1920s.
Yeah, check this out. It's just so, and it's an FMV game. I bought it just because it was complete. The price was good, and he also had Star Wars Arcade for the 32X, which is arguably one of the best 32X games.
Yeah.
I don't own a 32X. I need to get one.
Oh, you didn't got one yet?
I don't have a 32X.
What?
I've got the other parts. I don't have that part of the top little mushroom or whatever. 32X, we should probably talk about at some point for people that don't know. But anyway, it was part of Sega's dumb experience where they kept
adding on,
lobotomizing themselves and doing stupid stuff. But I ended up getting them both for like 30, I think, total. And they're both complete or something. I forget. But what's funny is Who Shot Johnny Rock, I end up asking in the interviews that we have. So Reggie's interview, I ask, I just kind of dumb questions, but I was trying to think off the cuff. Like, what's the worst game you ever played?
Yeah.
And then he says, the worst game I ever played was this game for the Sega CD called Who Shot Johnny Rock? And I'm like,
sweet, man.
I bought 3 games so far today, and that's one of them. And I don't think he was trolling me because that's not usually how Reggie rolls. He doesn't try to throw you out there.
I don't think he would have done that.
Yeah. A fellow collector friend overseas won a job simulator, so I picked that up from him. Pikmin 3 for the Wii U. There's not much left of the Wii U I wanted.
That's a good one to pick up.
That. Yeah, I think it's like $9 complete. So that's a cool at the cons. Like, I've kind of learned okay, so this is something to tell people who haven't been to the con yet for the first time. I think if you have definitely come with a wish list when you go to a con, but also know if it's a somewhat common game, but that's still needed. Like, don't buy the first one you see unless the price is amazing. Because I've been a lot of times where I'll see like, oh, I'm like, oh, look at this Intellivision game. I never see Intellivision games, and they have them at like $4 a piece or $5 a piece, but they're complete. And I'm thinking like, oh, that's great. So I bought like a bunch, and then I go 2 booths later, and they're all 50 cents.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
just trying to blow them out. Yep.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's just that's something to think about. Unless this is your like random Grail game that you
really want.
But like Red Star was enough that I was like, oh, that's good. Like, yes, I may be one of the random people who have a lot of bins, because sometimes sellers are like just a step above like flea market sellers where they just kind of had the same bins forever, and you could still maybe find something they have mismarked
that's been in there for a year or two, and then something's jumped, and it's like,
exactly,
let me grab that, let me swoop that up real quick.
Yeah, very good point, Shane. Like, the market could have changed and they don't care. They priced it 5 years ago, and that's what the price is. There's sometimes that out there too, but feel free to pass it up, and then mark where it is on your map or whatever to know to come back to check it out.
Come back and get it.
Yeah, so one thing that kind of stunk is one of the booth people were going for a bathroom break, and I got 3 games I wanted to like put in a bundle together. It was Pikmin, Grand Theft Auto for PSP, and then Castlevania X Chronicles for PSP. And I always wanted Castlevania X Chronicles, and I've been wanting that, and he had it at a good price. I was going to get a little bundle together, and then I got busy at our booth, and I didn't go back till like an hour and a half later or something. He was like, well, I didn't know whose they were, and when they come back, so I put them back out on the floor. And of course, Castlevania was taken because it was at 10. I think it was like 10.
Yeah, great deal.
Yeah, and it goes for like 25 on eBay complete. Yeah, so
that stinks.
It's okay. I'll pick it up in Portland.
Yeah.
No biggie. Especially for I got a GX TV for Pete's sake, and I sold my most heavy item. It's one of those things like
it worked out all
I will
fine.
probably complain if there was something to complain about. And then also N-Gage. I was kind of hoping I'd buy more N-Gage games. There's only one seller who had them. I think it was the same seller that I bought the N-Gage from last year.
Yep.
But I got a nice little bundle. So he had MotoGP, which is a cheap N-Gage game on eBay. It's a $10, $12 game. You could find it like he had it priced right at like $6. He also had under his table a whole box full of video game magazines. So this is twofold. I met a guy who came up to our booth and was asking, do you know if anybody has magazines?
Yeah,
and it was earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of told him like, no, I mean, ask around. I mean, maybe I would try the bigger booths.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and because he hadn't listened to the podcast, I was like, we also did a whole episode kind of devoted to magazines. I think episode 4 or something.
Yeah.
So check it out because we love magazine too. And then later, randomly, I'm trying to look at the N-Gage games, and I look down and my foot hits a box, and it's all magazine. I go strategy guides, Game Pros, old PSN magazines. No Nintendo Power because that's not my jam.
It's not your
But I love the 90s just because the ads.
The ads is super cool.
And,
it takes you back. Those really do take you back.
Yeah. And also they talk differently than, YouTubers and other like collectors and other podcasts. Like, they're journalists back when they had paper, back when it was like internet wasn't a big thing.
They really had to put pen to paper then. I mean, they really had to think about when they were playing. They had to put it down there. They couldn't maybe sneak a little bit off of the other YouTuber or somebody like that.
And speculation was big back then, like talking about what's going to be and what's going to sell. Like, Saturn needs to get this going, otherwise the Saturns are going to fail. And it's like all this. Anyway, it's great stuff. And he had them, I think, at $1 a piece, which is fine and fair, especially because if there's ones to pick through. But the whole box was full, and it was like 2 feet by 1 foot box.
It was a big box.
It was a nice big box. And I just was like, so I go down there and I count them up, and he's got like 80 of them in there.
Yeah, not paying 80 for that.
Yeah, of course not. But what I was thinking was like, I know I counted 80. I just said, what do you want for the whole thing? Just because he carried it in here, it's heavy. I did, and he knows too. It's like he knows it's heavy and everything. But this was still the truth. We're haggling at this point. I was just like, what do you want for it? So he's like, at first he was like, I think he said 60 or something. He just threw it out there. I didn't think he knew how many were in there, and I was like, oh, well, I was gonna say like 30. Then he was like, and then he goes down and counts them, and I think he counted them up. So he just, if technically I'm buying all of them, make them half price. So I got them each for 50 cents a piece. Technically,
good deal.
There's
both
80
ways.
in there, 40, but I also got the N-Gage game. I said, well, how about this and this? And you throw in the N-Gage.
Sneaked it in there. Look at you.
Well, it's
you,
also his least expensive
desirable.
N-Gage
It'd be one
game.
thing if it was the most desirable N-Gage game or something.
Yeah, but either way, I got the N-Gage game in there too. And plus, it's actually a nice plastic bucket because at the end of it, he was like, oh, so you take all these out? And I was like, well, I mean...
No.
Or do you have a bag to put them in, like 2,800? So he was like, oh, I guess. So I got the plastic box too, which is a nice. You know, it was a tote. Cool I've never seen it. Actually, the lid closes in on itself, so you don't lose the lid. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it was a nice random pickup.
Nice.
But yeah, I have a ton of now video game. I had a ton before, and now I have another 80.
Now even more.
I'm so excited. I went through and like looked at all of them, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to like.
Nobody spark a match over here.
Read them before bed or something. Yeah, I know, right? Poof.
We go.
But it had all the Resident Evil freaking guides in there. Like Resident Evil 4,
really cool.
I've been wanting forever. And there's a couple guides in there of like Mortal Kombat that I remember paying like few. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 Mortal Kombat guides in there. But guides are cool.
Yeah,
and I think
like guides.
And so that was my pick. Sometimes also when fans come up, it's nice to see what their pickups were, Reggie and stuff. I saw what he had, and he looked at what I had.
Yeah, he always comes over and looks at it, because even last year did the same thing with your pickups and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's like, and I do that too now. It's just like, hey, what'd you get? Oh, that's cool. But go ahead. Do you have a picture of what Adam
I got Adam picked up some stuff too. So he picked up, he brought down his Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis and Sega CD and had them sign that. But while he was at the con, he picked up Metal Jesus World Tour, Kilbert, Kinsey's Beer Run, and Radical Reggie's Venture.
Yeah,
and he had them all the
hacked
games that Riggs does. So he had them sign them all. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
What else did he pick up here? I picked up Splatterhouse and Ghostbusters, which are like repo cards. They never came out in the US for the NES. So they came
Ghostbusters 2, you mean?
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2. Good call. Yep. So he picked those up in box. So they got pretty cool little boxes. Turrican on the Sega Genesis. And then he's about to finish up his Wii U collection. So I think he's only like one game away, right?
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I mean, he was at 7 for a while and then slowed down.
Yeah,
so I haven't been paying attention.
So he picked up some garbage on the Wii U. He got Wipeout, Create and Crush, Big Game Hunter, FIFA 13. And Dragon 2, so that was a hot fire mess.
Yeah, got to do it.
Got to do it, man. Completionist. You got to get that filler crap, man. You got to.
I had to do it too.
But these are the cool ones. So on Sega Saturn, these are imports. Darius. He picked that up, and I used to have, or no, I didn't pick up this one before. X-Men versus Street Fighter. So it's got this like extra cartridge that comes with like memory cartridge. Jeez. So it's a complete in box. So that was really awesome. He picked it up, and then Fatal Fury on the Super Famicom. So,
nice.
CIB. Yeah.
Those totally sound like Adam pickups.
Yeah, those are Adam pickups right there.
It's funny, we've all got our own kind of...
Our little niche,
Yeah, and you've said before already in Portland, you're going to get some interesting stuff. You're just saving it.
I'm saving, man. I'm saving.
Yep.
So I'm going to get something.
I'm the same thing, too. That's why I left the money on the table with that other thing I thought I wanted. I was like, and...
I mean, there's definitely things there that I wanted, but it's just like you got to pick and choose your battles, and I know coming home with a little bit more money is better than...
exactly
without as much.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You kind of want to lighten the load. That's the whole point of it. Oh, and also when we went to that barcade, since the PSVR guys, a lot of them are in St. Louis, and then there's Riggs in Seattle, and there's me in Kansas City. We were able to get together, and we took a funny picture on Twitter that basically has us in about the same positions we are in the podcast. And we had Jake hold the phone up about where his eyes would be. I even took a video. Oh, I need to send the video to those guys. I don't know if I ended up sending it to them yet. We had a little video too. Let's see. Oh, and so they had bubble hockey there.
Yes.
So if those don't know, bubble hockey, you should know what that is by me saying it. It's like cool, like double super checks. Two people. Stick hockey is what they also call it. Where you pull on the rods and move the people around. I've wanted one of those for so long, but they are so expensive. And I have had the longest eBay search for that thing. That should have been in my top 5 favorite things, because I made the eBay search for that probably like 2000, probably like 15 years ago, 12 years ago. And it's basically within 50 miles.
Yeah.
And they never show up. Why? Because people keep them, and they don't break, and they don't break enough for people to, I mean, they can break. But still, these things go for a couple grand, and they're nice machines, and they're made by one thing, and they're meant to take abuse. And I saw it there, and I was like, oh, let's play, and I ended up playing with Reggie, and Reggie's like, I've never played one of these before, and I said, are you serious? But I haven't played one in over 10 years.
Yeah, this one was super kick butt, man.
Yeah, and I haven't. It wasn't the pro model. It wasn't the one I showed you.
Oh, it wasn't the one that
it
you
was
showed?
an older
one. Okay, older one. Okay.
Yeah, so Super Chex has made like a few revisions over the years, but they started selling these things in like 94, 93 or something, or 80s or something.
I think 80s.
They haven't, and maybe the 80s. Yeah, you're right, like 84.
Yeah.
They haven't changed much. They have the scoreboard. They kind of had more like you could pick the national anthem. Well, now they have a new one. It wasn't there at the place. The new one they made is called the Bubble Hockey Pro version by Super Chex, and it has now LED lights. When it goes on the ice after you score, play-by-play kind of announcer stuff knows where the puck is, and it has a jumbotron in the middle.
That's insane.
Yeah, which has, and of course, a jumbotron with that perspective. It's basically a 5-inch. It's like one of those Polaroid digital things screens that you take. Yeah, one of those screens, but it has action. It gives you the updated score. It reminds me of Blades of Steel on the NES. It's like bubble hockey's where it's at. So since Reggie never played it, I was remembering like all the old moves I used to do when I was a kid, and so
breaking them out on him.
Poor Reggie. I kind of he'd never played it before, so I always have one hand on the goalie. You do the little knob to turn him. And I think I beat him in the first one like 8-2 or something. And then, we were a little more even the next game. And it was kind of older games. So like the puck was getting stuck and stuff. But dude, Reggie was all about it. We were playing so long. He's like, he got a chair. I probably was a little video. He's like, I've never seen anybody sitting on a chair doing the hockey. But normally if you get tired, you're just like, okay, we better move on. But he wanted to keep going. But then
trying to take you out.
I got my butt kicked. Martin hopped on after Reggie was done. And then it was funny, like Martin played. And it's just like, that game, it happens so quick. You can do like cool little flick shots from the other side, and then you get these deflections, and then anyway. But yeah, now it makes me want to get a bubble hockey. But then I looked them up, and like they're all custom jobs. You can make them like whatever team you want. You could do whatever logo.
Cool. That's so cool.
But doing your own team, and like you could pick, like let's say you want the St. Louis Blues versus the Detroit Red Wings.
You could do that.
Look at that. I said sports stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Got it. Yeah,
Flyers,
that looks good.
New York, New Jersey Islanders, Rangers.
I don't watch hockey. So
okay, well, you could. I only know them from like the early '94 NHL game. All the new ones, like there's a Predators. They all look like expansion teams. You can pick the teams, and it also shows up on the jumbotron like which team is playing and stuff like that, and it'll play the right anthem, and you could switch the anthems like 4 or 5 different ones in a little setting.
Insane.
Yeah, but I want one. But when you look them up, they're pricey, like $2,500.
Start sell.
But that's just it. Like I was thinking, like I could just sell something. I got some stuff, got some games.
It'd be pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, dude.
Do it.
I know. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. What else from the con? What else you got? Anything else?
I think we got our shout outs. Who else? I think we covered about everything. Got our pickups.
So it was
a great con. I mean, this is one of the better cons I've ever been to. Not that I've been to a ton, but this one just everybody around it just seemed very happy. Sellers, buyers, vendor. I mean, just everybody was very happy.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody in the Mellow Jesus crew. Shout out to all our fans that came up and
thank you so much.
Very nice things.
That helped a ton.
And anybody else that we met that we failed to mention, we apologize.
Yeah,
we're just
sorry.
a bunch of amateur. We just weren't expecting that to be a little overwhelmed with all the stuff we had to do.
Our first con, we had like one person come up to us, and this one is like so many more.
Yeah, and it was. But anyway, thanks so much for all the support, and hopefully, if you can't go to a con, hopefully this kind of feels like an experience. That's what we heard before. That's kind of where we're going in depth because people like this stuff, I think. So let us know if this is okay, if this is a dumb episode, since we didn't stick to our normal stuff we do. Just let us know that too.
We're coming back with normal episodes.
Yeah, we won't take it personally. Yep. This was just an abnormal episode because we want to get
something out to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, while this close after the con was out, just so we got that taken care of. But stay tuned for a couple little bonus episodes now at the end of this show. So that'll be coming up. But otherwise, we'll see you next time. Episode 34 is in the books.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, welcome to this bonus interview episode of the Video Game Dads podcast. We promised you behind the scenes, and we have to do an interview first with one of the guys that makes this happen. Of course, you're not the only one. You're like a good football player that would say, hey, it's the team, it's
one
everybody
of five,
else.
yes.
One of five.
Yep.
Okay, we are talking with Jake Friedel.
Yes, you are.
Say that right? Friedel?
I believe it's just Friedel, but either way works.
Yeah, Jake.
Or Zebular, that's fine.
Yeah, Zebular, yeah. So, dual things. You have a YouTube. You like retro video games. What else? Come on, fill in the blank. What else is your life?
PSVR.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are part of the PSVR podcast.
Yes, and we buy up every physical game that's available.
Yep. But more so, you're kind of one of the creators of the Missouri GameCon, otherwise known as the MoGameCon.
Yep.
And this is its third year.
Yeah. Yep.
And how many is in your crew to kind of get this thing going?
All right. So year one, it was Charlie Shaw. So he's the founder.
Yep. Charlie.
Then there was me, Chad Hagar. Let's see.
Where's Charlie?
Rich Bergen. Yeah, Rich Bergen.
Did I run into Charlie today? Where is he at?
He's around.
Okay.
He's around. Yeah, sure. So it was the three of us starting out.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, the four of us starting out. And so the first year was in Elks Lodge, which you were there.
Yep, I remember it.
Adam was our only guest, but we didn't know what to expect. 5 people or like 500 people.
Yep.
Well, it became 500 people. So
yep.
When people are waiting to get in, we knew we had a little bit of something there, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
So, went from that, and then we kind of changed around, like, some of the people that are running the thing. Rich, unfortunately, left as far as the administrator group goes.
Yep.
But then we took on Pat, or PJ, and then we also took on Jason Heft.
Yep.
And so, that's the crew we got from last year to this year now. So, things continually get bigger, and it seems like going more smoothly. I'm loving it.
I'd say the arc to seeing year 1 and year 2, year 3, this kind of feels like the Three Little Bears thing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, this is too small, this is too big, this one's just right. This is the year of the Three Little Bears for sure. First, though, I have to say, and we'll continue to do this, the Video Game Dads, of course, went through a lot this last year. We really appreciate
no problem.
everything you did last year as far as, I could kind of say now, you guys kind of comped a lot of our fees. You also let us run a tournament that created a good amount of money. I kind of forget how much we probably said but it was between $1,000 to $2,000. We helped with Shane. And then we had good news through you all into this. Like, it's been a couple months ago.
Yeah, you guys are blowing up, too.
Yeah, well, I just meant Shane's daughter's cancer-free.
Well, right. Oh, yeah, that too. No, that's great. Yeah.
But we've had a lot of growth in the time we started a year and a half ago, so that's been wonderful. And now coming to the Missouri GameCon, I can't talk it up enough. This was great.
Yeah, so
this setting was great.
Like you were saying, so we continually run into issues, and I don't look at that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
So first year, with it being a smaller venue and stuff, which actually ran really well for a small venue, I think.
Yeah.
So then we moved to a bigger venue. There was costs that we couldn't get rid of. We obviously heard that people weren't a fan of some of the costs.
Sure.
And then audio was an issue and stuff like that. Space was almost too big, so people are actually walking around more than they really needed to be.
Yep.
But every year is a progression of us getting feedback and trying to make it better. And in the process, we're growing. Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, and I think this did great. You sold out of all your vendor tables.
Yep.
Just for people's perspective, if you didn't, you got like 100 different vendors. And then also, let's see, you have a good amount of kind of talent you brought in.
The Full Metal Jesus. Well, not the full. Minus 2 players, but the Full Metal Jesus crew otherwise.
We'll go through all that. So you have Jason, you have Radical Reggie back again. You have John Riggs, our podcast efficient, and I will say
PSVR Off-Center Podcast. Yeah,
and and I'd say too, especially this year compared to last year, because I'm observing things. They're quite they are talking to people all the damn time. Yeah, and I can tell you because I'm right next to John.
Right,
we can see him right now. Look at him. Look at those buns.
I was gonna say, and they're all super personal people. Like,
No.
I mean, good-hearted personal people.
Well, I was going to say, there's been a couple times I've been meaning to walk over there. Every time I see him free from somebody, I'm
2
telling
seconds.
Shane, hey, Shane, I'm going to go walk over and see John, and start to walk over, and then he's got someone else. And, of course, I'm not going to pull that as a fan talking to him.
Right.
That's been great. But, yeah, you've got Kelsey, Kinsey, and help me out. Backpack.
Reggie?
No.
Cody.
Cody, yes. I always want to call him Corey. I think I did that earlier. Sorry, Cody, if you listen to this. I really like that Game Blitz thing they do, too.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
great little podcast.
They do a pretty good podcast, too.
And then also tell me more about the rest of your talent you got down there.
Okay, so we got a couple of the Mortal Kombat guys, which are really cool. Pacina and Vizio, we got those two.
And those played.
Okay, so Pacina did all the ninjas in Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 1 and 2. There was some issue. Actually, that'd be a good question to find out what the issue was with Mortal Kombat 3. But he's in Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, did all the ninjas, did Johnny Cage. Am I missing one? Shang Tsung, maybe? Maybe. And then the other one, Divizio, he did Baraka. He did, help me out here.
Kano. You already
Kano,
said that.
yes, yeah, okay. Yep,
okay,
perfect.
Kano, Baraka, and then, Baraka, yeah, that was the guy with the arms.
Right,
yeah,
with the hands, yep.
Yeah, they were really great. I had them sign a couple things.
Super nice guys, too.
Wonderful.
Not just saying that, it's not like a superficial nice. They're, when you talk to them, they're excited about what they're talking about, which is, you can totally tell.
And the guy from Rampage, the guy who created Rampage.
Brian Cullen, which super nice guy too.
Yep.
He did a presentation. It was a great presentation.
Oh, great. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, so he's actually, they unfortunately had a Kickstarter that didn't quite make the goal.
Yeah.
But they're going to be working on another General Chaos apparently.
Yeah.
So they're still working on it, even though it didn't kickstart.
Long-time listeners know that was a Video Game Book Club pick from episode 4, and that was Shane's pick, the dad pick. So we liked General Chaos before we knew this, and Shane didn't even know. I said, Shane, bring your General Chaos for this guy to sign. He's like, what are you talking about? Which guy? I was like, yeah, I did Rampage, did your game.
And Xenophobe, too, which is also a great game.
Xenophobe's great. But he was great. I mean, he signed my little Mylar and everything. Yep. Top thing that you put on an arcade for those everyone, some part of our audience always never ceases to amaze me or whatever. There's a lot who don't know video games and don't know whatever. They like our dad talk. But
we had a lady on one of the panels, same idea.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me that that's the case, that they kind of show up to this game stuff even though they're not necessarily into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was really excited. She came for her son, and I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
I love to see that.
Yeah, I just think, the flow, the layout, again, kudos to you and your whole crew. You guys did such a great job.
We appreciate you guys coming out.
Yeah.
That's quite a trek from KC, really.
3 hours, not bad, not
yeah.
bad. But yeah, all the other people that came in from out of town, I'm sure you do after events.
It's insane. We've had some people from Florida. We've had some people from Arizona.
Yeah.
We had a couple people from Arkansas. I'm glad to see it, but I mean, honestly, it kind of shocks me how far people are willing to travel to come here.
So people who have never been to a con, which, probably a majority of our audience haven't had this, and they've heard about some of our cons that we've been to before. Let's talk a little deeper besides, this is the raw, this is great. Let's talk about a couple of things, not even like past years where you're learning through growing machines. What is maybe less than ideal? I don't know, or maybe just something that while you're doing this, you're kind of like, oh, I wish I would have known this when I started.
Right, and
that kind of thing.
That's what I was saying. So it's always a learning experience.
Right.
From like one year to the next. Like we can find and see where our shortcomings are. I'm thankful that people actually are critical. So when I find out that people don't like something, for example, but we knew right away getting into it recording, we had audio issues with the lighting last year.
Yeah.
So obviously there's not a whole lot we could have done with that.
Right.
So we changed venues. Audio is great in here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no hum or anything.
Yeah.
So we're happy about that. We had parking fees last year. Again, we didn't see a dime of that. That was a forced thing that we didn't even want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so we are finding out what people want and what people definitely don't want. But I'm glad to see the critical, opinions on that.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about you, the Jake, the guy behind the scenes. Let's shout out your. So you have a YouTube called Zebular, right?
It originally was Zebular. Now I just go by my name. It's just Jake Friedel.
Jake Friedel. Friedel.
E-L? Yeah.
E-L.
F-R-I-E-D-E-L.
Yeah. E-D-E-L. So check him out on YouTube. You do a lot of different things. You have a lot of kind of rare prototypes.
Right.
Give me like your paragraph of what your YouTube is, because I think it's really interesting.
So it's a smattering of things.
Okay.
So I like to do repair videos. Like, I enjoy buying broken consoles off of eBay.
Yeah.
And the reason is you get them super cheap, and or the people selling it don't realize that they have something that's not necessarily actually broken.
Yeah.
Like, they might have a dirty cartridge slot.
Yeah.
And they're selling something with a dirty cartridge slot for like $5 when it's something that's like $50, you know?
Yeah.
So I just enjoy the challenge of seeing if I can fix it, which I do that.
Yeah.
Some other things I'll do is like video mods. So like example, one of them I've done, I did like Master System 2, which only has RF out. And I added composite to that. So adding like video clarity is always nice to those older consoles. So I do that kind of stuff. And then basically just taking like older computers and stuff too, which is it's kind of disheartening. The most views I get is on my older PC video game runs and seeing what kind of frames per second it gets.
Yeah.
I actually get more views on that than the stuff that I'm really passionate about, you know?
Isn't that how it is? Like, podcasting kind of the same thing. You don't have to get into details, but like when you think something to pull and what it doesn't, like, if you put NES Classic or whatever, our highest like listing episodes or whatever, it kind of, it's funny what actually makes it pull.
Right, I agree.
So let's, so I know you're a busy man, the con is still going, we'll let you go, but a couple exit things. Your top 3 favorite consoles, in no particular order, which should make it easier, just give me your top 3, no particular order.
Oh man, and this is gonna sound so run-of-the-mill too.
Go for it. It's
so
fine.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
All right. You're boring. Come on.
I know. Okay, Atari Lynx. I like the Atari Lynx.
Yeah, you went deep in the hole. Yeah, okay. So I think you are the only person on earth that would say Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then Atari Lynx.
Right.
I don't think I'm ever going to hear that again. So, yes, Jake, a very unique individual. Favorite game genre, what do you like to play?
Ooh. Genre, I would say like horror. I think those type, or survival horror, more or less.
Yeah.
Those games seem to age a lot better. Or the campiness of them still holds up, I would say.
Yeah.
Like Reggie with his Chaos Break, which is, by all means, a terribly made game, but it's still interesting to play every once in a while.
Yeah.
Favorite game, though?
Yeah.
And this is going to be...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is going to be, again, run-of-the-mill, but Zelda Link to the Past.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how anybody could beat it, honestly.
Oh, yeah, desert island type thing, totally get it.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Well, you heard it here first. He obviously has a great gold and silver, but boy, that bronze is something else. That friggin' Atari Lynx, I'm going to remember that forever. That's interesting.
I would say Nintendo and Super Nintendo because that's what I grew up with.
No. I love it. Those are great picks.
Oh, great games on them for sure.
That's great. Okay, well, I'm going to let you get to your thing. Look,
Perfect.
We're right at 15 minutes. Appreciate it. I'm going to shake your hand in real life.
Yeah.
We're shaking hands in real life, people.
Instead of throwing furniture around on PSVR.
Thank you, too. You're my first one right now, because doing a little live interview. Thanks so much, Jake. Looking forward to many years to come until we do this to gray and no one shows up.
I was going to say, that's fine.
Yeah.
We will do it until only one person shows up.
All right. Come to St. Louis likely next year, probably around August, same?
We'll have to see on dates, but stay tuned.
Of course. Okay. MoGameCon.com is the website. Zebular, all the other guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast. This is bonus episode, now episode number 4. We're in a new setting. We are at Two Plumbers Barcade. Shout out to Two Plumbers, shout out to the owners. They gave us a little room to talk. I'm here with the wonderful, the charming Kelsey Lewin. Can I say Kelsey Lewin?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if I
absolutely.
couldn't, I'd have to edit that out. So that saved me some editing. Thank you for joining me for this quick little bonus episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know some of our audience probably knows you and knows you very well, but then also some of our audience isn't really big into YouTube. So I guess first, you are part of the Metal Jesus crew, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's kind of it's sort of an unofficial thing, but recently people have been acting like it is an official thing. So
Yeah.
I do appear in Metal Jesus videos and, you know, run around with the crew sometimes. So yeah, I guess we're a crew.
Yeah,
It
and
works.
I know people do it, and I'm not going to do it. Difference between Kelsey and Kinsey, right? You both have to stand on a box. That's always the running joke.
Yeah.
But yes, welcome to Missouri GameCon. You were here last year.
I was.
Yep, for number 2, and now you're here for number 3. I've been here for all 3. It's changed so much, like last year to this year.
3 different venues
Yeah.
in 3 years, right?
Yes, and shout out to the organizers. I think they did a great job. There always seem to be really great hosts, and the crowd was really good this year.
Absolutely.
You guys, and I'll just give you guys a kudos. You guys were so great at just being with your fans. You guys were standing the whole time, and people were coming up to you all the time, and that's a lot of work to like engage with strangers constantly over and over and over.
I appreciate that you think that, because I felt like, you know, I took a
Yeah.
lunch break and sat down a few times, and I felt like I was maybe not being fair, because it's only one day. You know, last
Yeah.
year it made sense that we were tired by day 2, and
Yeah.
maybe we're sitting down some more and not being quite as accessible. So I tried to stand up and be accessible for as long as I possibly could, but
Perfect.
it is, you know, it's a long day.
Yeah, and our booth, the Video Game Dad's booth, was kind of right down from yours, just 2 over. So anytime I'd look over you, you guys always had people coming and everything. So anyway, just so, Kelsey, about yourselves, you own a video game store.
Yeah, I co-own a game store called Pink Gorilla Games. We're in Seattle, Washington, so a little
Yeah.
bit far away from here.
Yeah, and a
but-
lot of YouTube content about that store too, by the way. Adam Karolic, pretty much anybody who goes to Seattle, Portland area talks about Pink Gorilla. And
Yeah, we get some good press. We actually were on IGN kind of recently, which is definitely the
Yeah.
highest production value that's ever rolled through there.
Oh, I
so.
bet you they probably had a lot of crew and everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember because you talked about that also on your own podcast.
Did, yeah, but they had about 9 or 10 people in there filming. So
Yeah.
that was a whole ordeal. Normally,
Yeah.
you know, Adam Korlick, friend of mine, obviously so is Metal Jesus, and both of them are very low key. They're one-man shows. So
Yeah.
that was a little new for me.
Yeah. With the other guy who owns the store with you, Cody, and Cody had his like lovely little backpack thing. He's a live streamer. I asked you really old man questions to figuring out what is this thing, because he like live streams and he has a backpack with a camera and he talks to the camera. It's all like way ahead. Like we thought Apple Watches were cool. You should check out his stuff too. So you guys both seem to be young, exuberant, really good business owners. I went to your panel 2 years ago in Portland, and I remember I was like thoroughly impressed. All I knew from you is I've seen you in a couple of the videos on Metal Jesus, but your little panel where you talked about owning a game store, you kind of co-did it with Limited Run, right?
That's right.
Yes, but you had a nice little PowerPoint. What was even the topic now? Now I'm forgetting.
I think
what
it was just about limited games and game collecting, and I'm
Yes.
happy to hear you say that, because I definitely felt like Douglas of Limited Run Games and I were not super prepared for that panel. I tend to be pretty good speaking off the cuff on panels,
No,
but
you were
that
wonderful.
was a little bit out of my comfort zone.
No,
so.
I thought you were wonderful. You had the PowerPoint. You weren't reading just the PowerPoint. Anyway, I thought you did a great job, and also just the way you were talking about the games and stuff. I was like, oh, she knows her stuff. This is great. This isn't someone who's yelling into a microphone. This is how much I know. This is how much I have. But you, I think, really just want to educate other people, because you probably take a lot of pride in researching things, right, for your store. And
Yeah,
so-
you know, I've been working in the store for about 7 years now, and I love it so much. I mean, I got the job because I felt really passionately about video games in general, and then as I learned more and, you know, sort of started getting the education about how to spot fake games and just all of these obscure consoles that I didn't grow up with,
Yeah.
I felt a lot more passionate about sharing that with people, and I just got more and more into it. So now that I own the place, and I have for a couple years now, it's been a lot of education to our customers and to anyone who will listen to me, really.
Yeah, yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, you've also had a couple people come into your. So you have 3 different stores. Help me.
Two stores.
2 different
Yeah.
stores in the area. You go ahead and shout out what their location is, I guess. People can Google, but
yeah, there's one in the International District, which is sort of like our Chinatown in Seattle, and then we have one that's right next to the University of Washington, which is
Yeah.
a little bit north of downtown, but still Seattle proper. So.
Yeah, and you guys get all the wonderful imports and that kind of stuff too. The Wonder Swan. Did you see that Wonder Swan that I pointed? Or
no, I never ended up seeing that one.
The joys of live TV. We're in the side room, and another lovely, the wife's Kona worker came in, and I was talking before that I thought I saw Wonder Swan. I guess I saw a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and Kelsey just very nicely educated me that was probably, and it's true. I was like, yeah, Sonic, Wonder Swan. It wouldn't be that, because it would be a completely Japanese game that I couldn't even read.
Sure, I mean, there's plenty of, Klonoa's on there,
Yeah.
Makimura, which is just, Ghosts and Goblins, and Mr. Driller. There's plenty of games that don't require Japanese, nor actually most of those have English text in them, because it's pretty much just start.
Okay,
And,
so you can figure it out. Because
But-
some people talk about the Wonder Swan and say it's too, like, it's the entry to access is too difficult because of the language barrier, but you're kind of saying it's not a big deal.
It really depends. I mean, there's
Okay.
plenty of games that you can access as someone who speaks not a lick of Japanese. There's still plenty that you can absolutely access with it. It's just going to mostly be platformers, puzzle games, rhythm games, that sort of thing. And there's a good amount of them. But yeah, there are a ton of RPGs on there,
Awesome.
and that's going to be where you can't really do much, unfortunately.
Okay, lovely. Always being educated. I love your videos, your content, and also your YouTube channel. What's your handle, I guess, of your YouTube channel?
It's just my name.
Address?
So
okay, Kelsey
my
Lewin.
YouTube channel is just youtube.com/Kelsey Lewin, and that is what I do. Is I educate, but I do some pretty in-depth research on mostly really obscure stuff. So most of the videos I've done have been on things that you might not have even heard of, like Game Boy sewing machine or the Famicom modem.
I know about it. Or the Game Boy that's inside the heart monitor machine. I was digging in the doldrums. I work in a hospital, and I was trying to find if there's old equipment and stuff like that. I was like, what if I could find this EKG maker thing? But I think it was actually not even in this country, in Europe, so I ended up not finding anything. Or even Vectrex, because the Vectrex, most of them were utilized for healthcare purposes. You probably know that as well. Right?
I've heard that the Vectrex was developed in St. Louis, right here. I actually did not know that until this weekend. Someone told me that this is where all of the prototypes and stuff come out of, is the city.
And it was initially created like EKG monitors because of the awesomeness of the wave, because I guess, cardiac specialists, heart specialists, we just lost some listeners. I'm very sorry. That's always my joke where I get off on a weird rant. Anyway, they need the accuracy of that, and the Vectrex is just so sharp and so perfect.
The monitors themselves.
Yes, the monitors themselves, that I think it was one or the other. They either utilized them after, I'm pretty sure they utilized that before, ended up not using, and then they kind of turned them into a console, or used them as the screen for the console.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bunch of leftover monitor, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, they're basically just super tiny CRT TVs, right?
Yes.
So a lot of those that they had left over. And I did not know actually what their purpose was beforehand, or I have forgotten through all the inundation of information that I was going through.
They're just so sharp and so bright, so that's so wonderful about them.
It's a really, really great system.
So, quick little exit things. Top 3 consoles. They can be handhelds too. What are your top 3? No particular order, because that's tough.
I think all of my top ones are handhelds, just because that's what I use the most. If I gotta pick an actual console, it's my favorite home console is probably the PS2, and that's purely for the sheer amount of really good games on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a versatile console with so many good, and every genre is represented well on that console.
Yep.
And then, I just play a lot of handhelds. So I always have to say the Wonder Swan. It's certainly not the one that I play the most, but it's my go-to kind of weird thing to show people. And there's lots of really good games on it too.
Yeah.
But I would say probably the 3DS.
Okay,
And then the Vita. And I anticipate the
good for
Switch
you.
is probably going to be my favorite console down the line, but we're just still waiting for there to be, a super amazing amount of games.
Yes.
All the games that have come out have been fantastic, but
you can't really look at a console till the retrospective.
Yeah,
Same
it's
with
true.
the Wii U or whatever.
I just am so into the you can take it on the go in 2 seconds thing. When you get older, you don't have as much time to spend in front of a TV anymore.
Yes, I know.
And in Seattle, we take a lot of public transportation.
But yes, the handheld ability. Yes.
So in Seattle, we take a lot of public transportation because our public transportation system is so good. And so being able to, play my Switch a little bit in the morning on the TV, and then in 1 second lift it up and leave with it and take it on the bus with me.
Yes.
Or the passenger seat of the car or whatever. I mean, that's such a such a free feeling.
Yep.
It's so, to me, it feels really catered to adults. I know that everyone says Nintendo is very much for kids.
Yeah.
But that design, I think, is very catered towards adults.
Yeah, they went back to the Wii. The Wii was so innovative. Everybody makes fun of it. The kitty flower. The Wii U, they kind of got a little late. Everybody kind of says they're getting lazy. They're trying to do the pad, but yeah, the Switch, they hit the right notes on that sucker, and it's a wonderful thing to play. Yes, I love that you picked handhelds. Everybody's had like different ideas of what these of what their favorite ones are. Jake's were funny because it was like Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, and then like the Atari Lynx of all things.
Really?
I know, his top 3. I love the weird. I love the obscure. That's probably why I like your content so much, and your whole group like appreciates all that kind of stuff. So that's wonderful. Worst game ever played?
Oh gosh.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one right off the cuff, because if a game really sucks, I just stop playing it.
I know, right?
Like, I can't say that I've played anything long enough to hate it a ton, because if I hate it immediately, I just don't play it.
You stop it before, yeah. It's weird. Sega CD games, it's usually something that like for me, it's WWF Attitude for the Dreamcast. Because of that, I was expecting something really good, and then it kind of stunk.
I wish I had some time to think about that one. Probably something like when I first started collecting, I missed out on a lot of consoles when I was younger. Specifically, a lot of the CD-based ones, especially things like the Saturn and the Sega CD. And so I was picking things up that looked interesting without really researching them beforehand. And I eventually learned to, but there were a couple things that I popped in and was like, oh, this is just a really bad full motion video game, and all the acting is bad, and all I'm doing is pressing a couple buttons. So the very, very last question, that's what I was thinking about when I asked you that last one. Sorry, I do ask the burning questions. That last one's tough. We have a segment I came up with because I love handhelds called the Handheld Holla. And we play horns, and we have people come up with that name. It was a big thing. I love it.
So the Handheld Holla, we shout out handheld games we like. We normally in our book club, that's kind of our big thing, is we try to pick things that aren't as popular. But the Handheld Holla is free, fair game. Any handheld game that you want to shout out for listeners that you just appreciate, you like, something you're recently playing, something you used to play in the past. Just one game to throw out there.
Oh, only one? All right.
Well, just one. It doesn't have to be your top, your favorite, but something just sticks right out that you're shouting out. That's all it is.
I hate to go with a somewhat boring answer. I wanted to have an interesting answer and a boring answer, but the one that comes to my mind every single time that I play probably once a year is Super Mario Land 2, 6 gold coins. It is maybe, it's either my favorite Mario game of all time, or it's my second favorite Mario game of all time. It's so good. It's just such a creative worlds they've built in that one. You're on the moon, you are inside a giant mechanical Mario. There's all these really weird worlds in it that are so unlike the other Mario games that are just like, okay, well, this is kind of a deserty looking area, and this is kind of a watery looking area,
Yeah, I played that one for the first time only 3 years ago, and I beat it in one sitting. Do you have the color variant or the hack that makes it a color?
No.
Oh, you don't?
Did not know that was a thing.
Oh, great. I wish I would have known that. That would have been a little gift for the interview. But anyway, check it out. I'm sure it'll be in Portland. We will see you in Portland. Thank you so much for giving me the time. Check out Game Blitz. Their podcast is wonderful. The co-owners of, or both owners of Pink Gorilla Games. Your YouTube, Kelsey, Lewin. Any other shout outs, you go ahead. You're probably better at doing it than me.
That pretty much covers it. Yeah, my YouTube channel, Kelsey Lewin. I don't put out content super often just because I put 40 to 60 hours of research into each video before I can even start writing the script. So it does take a while. But,
I bet, yeah.
But the podcast is a little bit more frequent, and I do appearances on the Metal Jesus Rocks channel as well. So I'm a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, so hopefully our audience checks you out. We highly recommend it. Again, thank you for joining us, and see you in Portland. See you hopefully in the next MoGameCon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.